seems to be a bellows. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Better look for it within you. The spirit of the fountain dies, and what it is called a mysterious feminine. The doorway of the mysterious feminine is called the road ever under, lingering like gossamer. It is only a hint of existence, and yet when you draw upon it, it is inexhaustible. Heaven lasts long and earth abides. What is the secret of their durability? Is it not because they do not live for themselves that they can live so long ahead of others? Reckons himself out, that his self is realized. The highest form of goodness is like water. Water knows how to benefit. It flows without striving for gain. By all men, therefore it comes near the top. In choosing your dwelling, know how to keep to run. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So, as ever hidden, we should look at its inner. Recognizes beauty as beauty. This in itself is ugliness. When all the world manifests give birth to each sort, exhibit each other. High and low, voice and sound, harmonize each other. Back and forth, follow each other. Therefore the sage manages his affairs without a dome, and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them but lays no claim to them. He does his work but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task but does not dwell upon it. And yet it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away. An empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled or fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all lies, is all lights. It unites the world into one whole hidden. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of them all, the father of him, turns all things. Sage is not ventilated. He treats all his people as struggles between heaven and earth. It seems to be it is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it moves, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Better look for it within you. Of heaven and earth, lingering like gossamer, it has only a hint of existence, and yet when you draw upon it, it is inexhaustible. How can be talked about? Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. When all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them, lays no claim to them. He does his work, but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task, but does not dwell upon it. And yet, it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the dawnless by not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and everything will be in order.
There's always like an empty bowl, which being used can never be filled or less. It seems to be the origin of all things. It's not so short that it is. One ties all tangles, it's harmonizes all lives. It unites the world into one whole hand in the deeds and it seems to exist forever.
I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things.
Taught the eternal title, the eternal name.
As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So, as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. When all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this in itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them, but lays no claim to them. He does his work, but sets things store by it. He accomplishes his task, but does not dwell upon it. And yet, it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all essence. Tao can be talked about, but not the eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. When all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this in itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage, he denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them but lays no claim to them. He does his work but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task but does not dwell upon it. And yet, it is Jim, as always manifest. We should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all essence. By not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, he will cause the people to remain without knowledge and without desire, and prevent the knowing ones from any ado. Practice non-ado, and everything will be in order. The towel is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all lights. It unites the world into one whole hidden in the deeps. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things. Heaven and earth is not sentimental. It treats all fools as dogs. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as straw dogs between heaven and earth. There seems to be a box. It is empty and yet inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Better look for it within you. The spirit of the fountain dies not. It is called the mysterious feminine. The doorway of the mysterious feminine is called the root of heaven and earth. Lingering like gossamer, it is only a hint of existence. And yet, when you draw upon it, it is inexhaustible. Heaven lasts long, will perdure for themselves. The veil can live so long. Therefore, the sage wants to remain behind, but finds himself in the heavens, reckons himself out, but finds himself safe and secure. Is it not because he is selfless? His self is forever. The highest form of goodness is like water. Water knows how to benefit all things without striving with them. It stays in places loathed by all men. Therefore, it comes near the town. In choosing your dwelling, know how to keep to the ground. In cultivating your mind, know how to dive in the hidden deeps. In dealing with Be gentle and kind in speaking. Know how to keep your words in governing. Know how to maintain order. In transacting business, know how to be efficient and make it a move. Know how to choose the right target. If you do not strive with others, you will be free from blame.
As for holding the fullness, far better were it to stop in time. Keep on being and sharpening a sword, and the edge cannot be preserved for long. Fill your house with pride and tame, and it can no longer be guarded. Set store all your riches and honor, and you will only reap a crop of calamities. Here is the way of heaven.
When you have done your work, retire.
Here is the way of heaven.
In keeping the spirit and the vital soul together, are you able to maintain their perfect harmony? In gathering your vital energy to attain suppleness, have you reached the state of a newborn babe? In washing and clearing your inner vision, have you purified it of all dross? In loving your people and governing your state, are you able to dispense with cleverness? Tao can be talked about, but not the eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not the eternal way. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. When all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this in itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set to measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado, and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them, but lays no claim to them. He does his work, but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task, but does not dwell upon it. And yet, it is just because, as always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all essence. By not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, he will cause the people to remain without knowledge and without desire, and prevent the known ones from any ado. Practice no ado, and everything will be in order. The Tao is like an empty ball which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all lights. It unites the world into one whole hidden in the deeps. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things. Heaven and earth is not sentimental. It treats all things as straw dogs. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as straw dogs. Between heaven and earth, there seems to be a bellows. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Better look for it within you. spirit of the fountain dies not. It is called the mysterious feminine. The doorway of the mysterious feminine is called the root of heaven and earth. Lingering like gossamer, it is only a hint of existence. And yet, when you dwell upon it, it is inexhaustible. Heaven will flow with earth abides. What is the secret? Things. He rears them but lays no claim to them. He does his work but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task but does not dwell upon it. And yet it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all essence. By not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins opening the bones. In this way, who will cause the people to remain without knowledge and desire and prevent the knowing ones from any ado, practice non-ado, and everything will be in order. The tarot is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all lights. It unites the world into one whole hidden in the deeps. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things. Heaven and earth is not sentimental. It treats all things as straw dogs. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as straw dogs between heaven and earth. There seems to be a bellows. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Better look for it within you. The spirit of the fountain dies not. It is called the mysterious feminine. The doorway of the mysterious feminine is called the root of heaven is like water. Water knows how to benefit all things without striving with them. It stays in places loathed by all men. Therefore, it comes near the town. In choosing your dwelling, know how to keep to the ground. In speaking, know how to keep your words. In governing, know how to maintain order. In transacting business, know how to be efficient. In making move, know how to choose the right line from blame.
Lost in wonder, empty of self and mindful of reality. When suddenly you interrupt this piece to exclaim, how beautiful is this tree, how magnificent this field. You forfeit life, the intrusion of self, and the imposing of judgment separates you from reality and snares you slow in silence.
Coming in last year, and I spent about 25 minutes live doing Notebook LM.
Right. On any parent allowing their children to go to a public, but I don't care if you're at the park, I don't care, maybe like 12, 13, like they should be going, because at the 13 sometimes you basically don't. Like they should be escorted by their parents.
So two things with it. One, do you feel that the trans movement hurts the gay movement? I think it does, personally. I think it messes things up. And then two, crap, I forgot what the second one, it'll come to me in a second. But answer that question, what do you think? You know what I mean? Like, obviously help, right?
Yeah, well, I think that it's definitely hurt because of the it's been the right hasn't hyper fixated on this topic, but also the left has gone has made this put this in the forefront in a political way as well. So
yeah, that was my second point. And actually, this is what really started the conversation about our side. And because we were discussing like why maybe Trump isn't that great, blah blah blah, but the alternative is just horrid. So because like that's the thing, people voted for not having men pretending to be women, in their opinion, in their daughters' bathrooms. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's crazy to say that. Like he just lost his mind. Like it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen zero. It doesn't happen at all. And like he was just going crazy.
I think that what we're missing, just real quick now. I think that what we're missing though is that you can say that, and I understand the people who voted, because I do, but I also blame that I think that this issue has been widely overhyped and over-sensationalized. The instances, it should never happen, to be fair. But even in the instances where it does happen, it's very, very rare. There's going to be, crazies in every demographic, including, the LGBT, obviously. But I think that if you think by voting for Trump that trans women aren't going to go and do the same shit that we all need to do when we use the bathroom, it's not happening, because people going to the bathroom is not like a privilege. It's literally something that everybody needs to do. So I think that's my issue with that logic is problematic, because you maybe try to shame people or scare people, but at the end of the day, If a bitch gotta go to the bathroom, she gonna go to the bathroom, and she's not about to. And this is the important thing, because people know, why don't you go to the bathroom for your sex? The reason why is because literally men will attack and harm and rape trans women. It happens all the time. Like actually, the same or even more than it happens to women. Trans, especially black, they're not safe going to men's bathrooms. So it's a matter of safety.
So Jay, I got a question. What you were saying about people sending their kids to the bathroom and all that. What about a single parent?
A single
right?
parent.
Are you saying so? For example, I have a daughter. Right? Should I be allowed to then go take my daughter into the girls' room, and should I be allowed to because I have that? Or
active girl dad, single parent. I think that is where. This is how I would, in general, right? Obviously, it's going to be whatever. You got to go. You got to go. In general, I think it should be a thing where you go to, and this is how I would navigate it if I had a daughter. It would be the same thing, right? Go to the bathroom, make sure it's empty, right? Unless, like, how old's your daughter?
She's 13.
So, okay, so I mean, yeah, she said, okay. Well, really, she's kind of at the age where she could kind of go by herself, but like, let's just say, common thing. Make sure it's empty. Go to the bathroom. You go, hello, anybody in there? Make sure it's empty, and then you have her go. And then you watch. You stand by that door until
So Jay, sorry to cut you off, but what you're saying is an ideal case, right? You're at a Target. Hundreds of people are there, right? You're gonna say, "Honey, we gotta wait outside for a little bit. Just wait till it's empty." Hello, anyone in here? No. Okay, go. Oh, someone was. Excuse me. Going, my daughter's in there. Fuck you. I'm gonna walk in. It's happened. I've tried that, and the lady just walks in. Okay, so what you're talking is an ideal thing if you're in some place, maybe a restaurant, and it's before the rush time and all that stuff. Great, but that's not real, right? No. You can't really pretend on that. And that too, women also hang around the restroom. Well, let me give you a use case, a real life use case. I had a situation where my daughter, we went to a public park, okay? We were playing, we were hanging out, right? It wasn't really a park, it was Adventure, which is like almost like a Six Flags type place. And so we went there, we were hanging out, we paid, we did all that stuff, right? She had to go to the restroom, right? And I see this butch looking woman walk in that I was sure was a guy. Right, and I went in, I checked, like I didn't go into the thing, but I just said, anyone in here? And some lady was there. I said, oh, okay, well, and I was talking to her, and I said, hey, could you just, my daughter's going in there, just like, she's like, yeah, sure. And then I see this butch-like guy going in, looking like a guy walking in. I can't say, excuse me, you can't go in, right? I can't do that, right? Violation of personal rights, right? I can't tell someone to do that. So what do? I just stand outside, like freaking out, what's going on, and then my daughter comes out, oh, this guy was talking to me saying, oh, he liked my dress. I said, why did you say it was a guy? It was a girl. Well, it was a guy in the girl's bathroom. I said, why? He was peeing. He was standing up in the thing next to me. Why did the guy come in? And if the guy can come in, how come you can't come in? She asked me. And then I said, well, he's misguided and misplaced. Now, nothing happened to her, so you can say, well, nothing happened, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, you tell that to any girl dad, and they would be freaking out, ready to beat the shit out of that guy or whatever, or just terrified if something happened. And if something happened, you'd all be saying, oh, well, that's just one case. That's just one situation, Yeah,
no, I totally
get your president is a gay
pedophile. Sorry, not. In that situation, I would...
Oh, we changed the title, my bad.
Yeah. I think in that situation,
you have to talk about the title in 2 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. In that situation, I think it would be completely justified for you to walk in the bathroom with your daughter, and if anybody were to say anything, you'd be like, what do you call it? I'm monitoring the situation.
But see, the weird part, Jay, on that is she was already in the restroom. I was outside, and then the person walked in. So I'm walking in after the person. So I'm just saying to you, well, what you're saying again is an idealistic view, but you're not seeing the actual use case. The actual use case is, she was already in the restroom, using the bathroom, and then I'm outside, right? So that's a different story. I think a lot of women would disagree with you and feel uncomfortable, but that's a different argument. What you're saying is, oh, well, when you see this person walk in, then you should be allowed to walk in and monitor. Well, no one's going to say you're allowed to monitor. And what if it's just a big butch-looking woman, right? I mean, I'm just saying, right? And I didn't know you said that. If you, so, I mean, and I think the assumption that the person walking in is that way. Now, my daughter told me afterwards that she was, that the person was standing up. But how am I supposed to, I don't know that before. You see, Jay, the problem?
So that's what you think Trump was doing in those fucking Team Miss USA pageant locker rooms?
Is that what you
think he was looking for trainees?
Hey, Florida, can you just shut up for a minute while we're having a conversation?
Oh, my bad.
Oh, Florida.
I forgot we changed the subject.
No.
You jumped in, so.
Yeah, and it's actually really important, especially because and I think that this is the thing, right? I think we're in a period now where we're going to have to, and I say we, like in society, we're going to have to make some adjustments, because what we need to understand is that there are people there who, in that case, like that person, I think is somebody who is problematic. And I would say, because you know what the fuck you look like, right? Like, that's just like me. If I were to go, put on, like if I were to go and cross dress, like, I'm not trans. You know what I mean? Like, you're just dressing up or doing drag, which is cute, which is fine. Shout out to the drag queens. But like, they also, know too, like there's levels, and it's a matter of respect, comfort, and safety. So if you go in, because the actual, well, I can't speak with some of the, but for the most part, real transgender people who've undergone, HRT and have been
the real trannies.
Yeah, the actual trannies, not drag queens, although you can be trans drag queen, that's the whole thing too. But actual trannies, they would not be in a situation where you just looking like some big ass man. You know what I mean?
What?
Like, and it wouldn't. No, not the real girls.
Oh, like, brother, you've not been on Tinder.
Well, then they need to adjust their transitioning, then, because
no kidding.
Not actually. Yeah.
They ain't fooling nobody.
Exactly.
But they say, hey, I'm a woman.
Well, then you need to look like it. And I think that's where it should be. But for now, I think it's important. In the meantime, in between time now, I think it is totally valid for you to, be in a space and be like, well, if it's like a big, because what you actually said is true, right? If it's like a big place that has like a bunch of, it's a whole bunch of people and it's busy, I think it's totally valid for you to say, excuse me, hi, I'm just coming here with my daughter, like, as long as, because I feel like if you're, kind of like, how, like when housekeeping, and then like monitor you, but it's
not allowed. It's not allowed. I've been thrown out of places doing that with my daughter.
Yeah, that's problematic.
I've been thrown out of places, and because you're not allowed to do that, and like literally kicked out, I said, well, personal space. I said, I'm not. I'm just going to the restroom. Like just watching her in the restroom. I'm not even using the restroom. I'm just watching my daughter. Well, in some places, you can use that one. Well, and that's true. I can stand there while she goes to the bathroom. Then she doesn't like it because I'm standing right next to her, while she's going to the bathroom. Yeah. I mean, she's like, I don't want to be there. Like, so it's, what I'm giving you is a real world situation. And then take the opposite, right? A single mom with a boy, right? I mean, men probably would like having the woman in the restroom, right? But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right? It's like it's just an uncomfortable thing, and and it's not right to be there. And then you have the unique situation where a single dad has both a boy and a girl, and the boy has to go to the restroom, and he's not going to leave the girl alone outside. And I've seen it. They bring the girl into the boys' restroom while the guys are standing at the urinal because he has no choice, or he has to go to the restroom and he brings them with him, because there's nothing you can do. So these scenarios, these one-off use cases, seem like they're trivial, but they're really not.
Can you guys hear me, no or no?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I just want to double check that. I've been catching up on the story.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, he's giving me a thumbs up. I'll change it in a second.
Okay.
The pivot to this.
I had a brilliant.
What?
Yeah.
Don't name it. Make sure to hyphenate the cancer free.
What? Say Jay?
You just said this last thing, Matt.
I still can't.
Oh no, I was just saying. Let me just say this last thing for you.
I mean, her. Don't name her.
This is what I would advocate for. Like, if JJ was president, oh Lord, I can imagine the hate already, but the love too. Anyway, I think that what we should do, and I think that this would actually be very
gay Obama vibes. I'd vote for.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Florida. Gay Obama's. I think that
that might be redundant. We're not really sure.
No. I think it would actually, and I think this would actually be fucking brilliant. What we should do, because I think that this is an investment into moving to a modern, respectful, and safe society. And I think this is just necessary in general for all the reasons that I've already highlighted. There should be a national.
It's third, not man.
Dude, you're not funny. Shut up, faggot.
Yeah, exactly. There should be a national. See, relax. There should be like a national tax. I would implement a national, like a tax break for every company, every place that has a what do you call it? That institutes genderless, like single stall or family style bathrooms. Every business or whatever that does that, it's a tax.
No, so Osama tried the third bathroom, right?
You said Osama.
Is that what you heard?
Yeah.
Okay. This whole, second bathroom or third bathroom or whatever, and tried to push schools to do it. And he got fierce pushback. Then New York City does it. So if you go to New York City, you'll find genderless restrooms. Well, here's the problem. You have guys and girls going to the restroom at the same time. And there's been hundreds of cases you can look at where women go in and they feel uncomfortable because someone is looking at them. So what they've done now is places have actually reduced the large number of restrooms, like, 3 stalls and all that, and they just put individual bathrooms.
Yes.
Okay? And so the problem is now you have a line out the door, especially if you're a large place, because it's a single bathroom. You're not putting 5 single bathrooms. You're putting 1, and you're saying, okay, I'm removing this massive room, and I'm going to use that for something else, and I'm going to put just a single bathroom in here. That'll solve it. Well, you got a line out the door waiting. Well, too bad. It is what it is.
I don't think that they should do that. I think that you can leave the bathrooms as is, but in a case like how you had mentioned with your daughter, like a family bathroom, I think that is what that should be for.
But those are single bathrooms. You would need to have like 10 of them to meet the demand that
No. You can have no. What I'm saying is you can leave the bathrooms as they are, but you can, put an additional.
They all have
the airport.
Well, Jake, every place pretty much, or malls and all that stuff, has a family style bathroom. It's usually one. Usually it's for parents that have kids in like diapers and all that stuff, and they go in there and they change them and they do all that stuff, right? But again, right? My question to you is, do I use that with my daughter, or is that the one that the transgender person uses? Right? The transgender person says, no, I should be allowed to use the thing of my sex. So then, okay.
No. I think the transgender person, if they're actually, like I said, if they're actually trans, like they can use the women's bathroom. But if you know that, you have your, you don't want to be in a situation, or you just want to make sure that like the situation that you mentioned can't happen, like, and it's really more for your comfort.
Yeah, I know. I can go to the family bathroom. Look, that issue is there right now. Problem is, 60 to 70% of the time, the family bathrooms, usually 1 or 2, are taken because somebody has a kid in there, or a baby or something, and they're changing them, or they're doing whatever in there, and that kind of stuff happens. So those are usually taken. So then you're sitting there waiting, like, okay, now I have to. So what about me? My right to use the bathroom being sacrificed because someone else is born a different gender, but feels like he's a different gender, and then decides he wants to go in there. So therefore, my daughter has to wait. Why should she be the one? Why can't that person go and use a different one? Why is it that we have to sacrifice and make the changes compared to others?
Gentlemen, I have to interrupt this. We need to get to the topic of the room. You get tired of getting here.
No worries. Yeah, I was going to actually.
Yeah. Does anybody here know of the story about this? Does anybody here not know the story about? Let's just put that like that.
No.
What is this? I haven't heard.
So he basically.
That's cool.
Oh, so he's a former, and you guys can correct me because I don't know all the details. I've just been reading really quick. He's a former NBA player, played 11 seasons, up to was it 2020 or 20?
Yeah, former NBA player.
In any event, he has looked at the requirements to enter the 2027 to do their draft in 2027. He, as far as I know, he's a full man. Maybe he's transitioned since his time as no. He's got all that going on.
Let him finish, Florida. Come on.
Yeah, you guys, freaking out. It's not going to work today.
You say correct you if you're wrong.
You're freaking out. Stop. So yeah, okay, so I hear you were saying, yeah, you declare for the draft 2027. So that's where we're at. Anybody have any more details, go ahead and add. But does anybody think that he should have his own?
Has he got over his fear of flying yet? I'm talking about Royce White.
We haven't gotten to that guy. That's another one, right? I'm gonna put
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. But do you guys think he's gonna have a locker room by himself?
I don't think they're gonna get in, Matt.
I mean, it's not even going to be taken seriously.
I think they're gonna have a meeting of the minds, and this thing is going to obviously push the WNBA commissioner and board beyond what they thought was reasonably possible, which is the idea that legit men are going to just apply to join the WNBA.
That's not going to happen. No.
Wait, why?
So they're going.
We're gonna have a conversation. Why not? Why?
Number one.
Why won't he get
Number one, you might get a chance.
Rob.
I've literally been on this app for 15 hours. It's just been out of control. One at a time. Florida, make your case. Go.
You want to think why he's not going to get in?
Okay, we'll go with that. Go for it. Yeah.
The reason I think they're not going to get in is because the WNBA Board of Executives knows damn well that their transgender lenience policy or approval policy was not designed to be taken advantage of in this manner. They know for a fact that both Ennis Freedom and Royce White are not actual women. They're not actually identifying as women. They're not actually identifying as trans women. They are merely trying to play the game to prove a political and or ideological point. And that point is reasonable in a lot of people's eyes.
Okay, wait a minute. But I just read here real quick, double check this. He's not coming in as a man, man playing in the women's, the WNBA. He's coming in claiming that he's a woman.
Claiming, keyword.
Yeah, but there would be something that you have to think about. They've already played in the NBA.
One of the requirements, by the way.
Matt, there's a trolling factor behind all of this that you guys, maybe you're not aware. There's a trolling factor to it. The reason they're doing it is to prove a point. Hey, if they're just going to allow men to play in the WNBA as trans women, then I can just say I'm a trans woman. And then I can declare for the draft.
Okay,
and so let me ask y'all, have y'all heard of a trans woman? And I'm not talking about one of the women that don't identify as.
You think it's a political statement? Where are you getting this?
Or ideological. I don't know if it's political or ideological, but it's one or the other or both, yeah.
You might be okay. We don't know. Okay.
I heard a little bit about that. I don't know the details of what she said or anything, but yeah, whether it's a response to it or not is irrelevant. I think it's like if you or I was trolling on Clubhouse, you know that person on Clubhouse, Cappuccino, who like isn't actually a trans woman, but like poses as ridiculous it would be to allow men to play in the WNBA as trans women.
I don't know why Florida got a thumbs down. Jalen Layer did a movie, 80 Ballers.
Yeah, hold on. First of all, the NBA doing it, so this isn't like a
considering what you talking about, Enes Kanter?
Yeah.
No, they're not. Like man, stop lying. That's not happening.
Stop.
They would be considering some trans athletes.
No, Rob, stop. What they're actually considering.
I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, Rob, I'll do this, brother. Please. I know you come in here all the time. You talk all night.
You call him a black there for
Matt.
Yeah.
They're doing the thing to prove a point. What the WNBA is going to be considering is how to deal with the contradiction of logic that is going to begin to apply, where men who are actually men could just simply say that they're trans women and declare for the draft. They need to figure out how to deal with that problem while also not discriminating against quote unquote real trans women. That's their dilemma right now.
Okay, I take your submission. I'll think it over. Go ahead, Rob. Make your case. Go ahead with me. Oh, he's on the phone now. Great. Okay, so going down that road, I see some of your angles that you're saying. I'm not. Oh, he's gone too. Okay, Monica, do you want
to? Let me just chime in real quick. I think that I echo everything that Florida said, and I think that as somebody who is, like I said, like I used to actually be a coach, a tennis coach, and I'm very competitive. Coach. Yes, a black tennis coach. So, and I think that fairness in sports is important. But I think that this is a bastardization of that. Clearly, he's just doing this to troll. And I think it's actually going to be a win for the left, because what we can actually do is prove that there is a separation between actual transition. See, when you transition, it's not just about claiming I'm a woman. You can do that shit with non-binary. That's not what trans is. And that's why it's important to separate. That's why we have different letters. So although people be conflating shit, and it's not the same. Right. Like trans means that you've undergone a actual physical transition.
I got it.
And really, when you're doing things like hormones and things like that, so that because even women can have too much high testosterone, cisgender women or whatever, and that can be a problem. So this actually, I think, will be good, because it would they can respect people's identities and also make sure that people are not cosplaying as actual trans.
Okay, I get it.
It's all 3D chess, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stipulate. Okay, maybe Florida's going down the path that sounds maybe somewhat logical. They just threw up some guy, this black man, I guess, to see what they would say, whatever. But the next step is they're going to make I'm assuming they're going to make a decision on it, and what it comes after that, a bunch of men pretending that, or a bunch of women or men pretending to be women, coming into the league. I mean, it still doesn't knock out the thing, right, Beaver? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, the beauty of this is that it's going to force them to actually take a stance or define in their rules who is eligible and who is not, and that in itself just totally flies in the face of wokeism. They can't win in this situation.
It's a dead-end road.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and they went about it all. This is all weird. If it's actually like a statement being made with no real okay. They came out and said yes, it's allowed, but then they're not going to allow it to happen. That's made things worse, right? like somehow they're allowing this to happen maybe, and then they're not really going to allow it to happen, kind of weird thing. I don't know how that works, but the whole situation is such a stupid woke take, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're gonna have to force to admit what a woman is, or what their idea of a woman is, and that's gonna alienate some other extreme left people, and then they're gonna not know what to do or say, and it's just they're gonna have to bend the knee, and then Jarl's gonna cry.
But Beaver, don't you think that it could actually go down in a more comprehensive way, like how I was saying, where you can actually say that this is a complete joke. These people are not actually transgender. They haven't gone any sort of physical transition, and so they can maintain the respect for trans women within the sport, and not have to be like, okay, well, anybody, because it's not, being trans is not just about claiming that you're, especially in the context of sports, because people have to remember, playing sports is not a right, it's a privilege. And that's why actually I think if they play their cards right, this is actually, like I said, going to be a win for the left, because we can prove that trans is a real thing. And that
Leah Thompson, did she cut her dick off and go?
You don't have to cut your dick off to be trans, but you do have to. Right, you have to undergo, and not just starting. You have to undergo in order to play sports. There needs, this is a sport. It's different than the bathroom or spaces. There is supposed to be years of transition. At least I think about 2 years of physical HRT that goes in before you can be considered eligible. Because to me, that's not what I would say is a fully realized trans person. They're like a baby trans. You can't be a baby trans and then jump into, the sports.
But why not?
No. Because that is what a
so you're going to deny their experience. You're going to deny their experience as being a woman.
No, you can have your experience, but again, this is why it's actually really, and they can start to talk about these things. Going to the bathroom, that's a right. Being in a space, a public space with certain things, that's a right. Playing a sport is not a right. It is a privilege. And there are certain boundaries for fairness that people can, enact. And
I disagree. Using a restroom is a privilege also.
No, because when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Like, to a restaurant and you don't buy something, they're like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, that's true. They will kick you out now.
You have to pay to use it over in Europe. It's not.
You do, for example, once you do patronize that business, then you have a right to use the bathroom. Like people, we see that because we understand that, using the bathroom is like a physiological like necessity. So you have to go. Whereas playing sports is not.
Speaking, if they're considering this, the advocates for making this, come to fruition. I mean, I think there's real people behind this saying this is completely acceptable. If we are thinking that there are people that really want to do this, they consider this a human right. Are you there with that, JJ, or no?
These people, these NBA players are saying that this is a human right?
Yeah, there's advocates saying that, yeah.
They're fucking nuts. They're literally played in the NBA. And to me, once you have crossed that threshold, I would actually say that in general, right? I think that once you cross a threshold...
Wait, time out, JJ. What's his name was the Wheaties champion, Bruce Jenner, and he crossed that threshold and he won a fucking gold medal and he was the athlete of athletes. Are you denying his womanhood?
No. Not denying his womanhood. What I'm saying is, and even I don't know, Bruce Jenner, I don't really consider him a proper trans woman.
Why not?
Because he doesn't actually support nor advocate for trans women, and his stupid ass. He hasn't even adjusted or tried to affect his voice or actually properly. I don't even think he's on hormones anymore. But
so you see that all these people have their own idea of what a woman is or what a real trans is, but we already know what a real woman is. We know this from science. XX versus XY.
That's what we're not saying. Right, but we're not saying that.
We don't have to define it. We already know. We don't have to make up.
but I think that it's not about defining what a woman is. I think it's because I think that that's the that is a maybe right wing narrative. I think that what people who respect trans identity are saying is that there should be space within women's spaces for actual trans women, real trans women. Not these fake ass trans women.
I know. I'm so sorry, but this is just so convoluted. I mean, I can't believe we're at this place. I mean, listen to how we're talking right now. Like, no, I mean.
Well, to be fair, Matt, I never thought we would get to a place where we're talking about. You got to look at it like this, Matt. Guys, like we are in a space and time. Everybody has a fucking cell phone. Like just even when I go out in the street, I'm on the train, even just at a place waiting at the bank. Like everybody has a phone in their hands, like and literally can do millions of different things. They're now talking about we're doing drone wars. We're attacking people from the sky, never having to go, go on foot. Now they're talking having AI data sensors and fully automized robotic police and people, replacing humans in jobs because they don't have to pay, fucking medical and dental, and 401ks and shit to fucking robots. That's the identity. It's not really that radical.
Am I the only one that thinks, like, just hearing the conversation with terminologies, this should be that, this should be this. Like, Beaver, am I the only one just going, like, what is going on?
No, this is nuts. This is insane. So, hold on, JJ. Let me ask you something real quick. Sorry to cut you off. So, are you okay with these transgender women going to women prisons?
I'm after free.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
So.
No, hold on.
Go ahead, buddy. Yeah, please.
I'm going to tell you why.
Yes.
I think that first and foremost, within and there do need to be have their own block, their own cell block, their own spaces, so for safety for them and for the other like cisgender biological women. Because
they do have that. They do have those.
Well, I believe that it should, but what I'm saying is I believe that it should remain that way because if they were to be in men's prisons, I think that they could be subjected to a lot of harm. So that's the reason.
But you also understand that women's prisons that they could be the subjectors of a lot of harm. No,
which is
exactly. He said that. The bottom line is we're not going to change all of society for the 1% who has something that's not substantiated in science. The bottom line is that these people have the anatomy of men, which is why they're called men. Okay, and we align them with people who have the same anatomy. So the logic is not to put them with something else that they want to identify as, it's to put them what they actually are. We don't fucking put humans in kennels because humans don't go in kennels like animals. They go in jails for doing crimes because the laws apply to humans. Okay, in the same logic why we separate adults from children, etc. We're not going to play this game where we're going to change all of society based on the science and all of human history to know that men and women are different. That goes with fucking sports, that goes with jails, that goes with fucking restrooms and everything else. We're tired of trying to accommodate this crazy shit. Like it makes no sense. And you and other people struggle to make it make sense. It's like, give up, bro. Nobody, even your own side. This is an 80-20 situation. Most of your side, they will kind of sit in the space with you guys and kind of just be quiet and let it fester. But truthfully, they don't believe the shit. They know it's bullshit. They just do it to try to virtue signal. It's bullshit, bro.
Can I just, real quick, what's interesting here, JJ, if I take your side, I would ask Free to find a law with to find a state with a law that says it's illegal for men to go into a women's restroom or vice versa. That's what I would task Free with doing first. And then if I were to take Free's side, JJ, I would say that the spirit of creating women's sports leagues is not one that allows for more effective men that identify as women to compete against them in sports. It was to provide a space for females to compete against themselves.
I understand that. I think sports is kind of the final frontier, because I do think that, like I said, as somebody who is participated in sports, and is competitive, I understand, all the different dynamics surrounding sports. But as far as, but so what Free said, I think, and this is really what it goes to, because there is a lot of, we're not going to change society, and we're not going to, all this shit is crazy. And I'm like, no, that to me, that is the problem. And that's why people push back, because no, it's not crazy. Yes, there is actual science that backs this shit up. And just because it doesn't fit your, ideological or religious narrative does not illegitimize it. So yes, there's a lot of shit that is, and it's funny because, I just mentioned that, all of this stuff about, technological advances and social media advances and fucking AIs and Groks and shit. I don't feel comfortable with a lot of this shit. I'm not the computer nerd, but I'm learning that society does have to adjust. You will adjust. And you don't have to like all the adjustments. I don't like all the adjustments. But just saying, well, we don't like it, so and we don't have to deal with that because we're straight and we have this religion or we just don't want to fuck with it. We're not. No, fuck that. You will adjust, and or we can.
No, we will not. No, fuck that. We will not adjust. We win. We're in charge. We're in control.
For now.
So there is really just there's a very simple, like, what would William of Ockham have done in the 14th century, or had said in the 14th century, had he, William of Ockham, the proponent of the Occam's razor approach to such a thing, what would he have done or said as a solution to this? I think it would have been very simple. Let each of these individual bodies, let each of these individual organizations deal with the issue themselves, independently of one another, and then allow the free market of competing solutions to present themselves as possible alternatives, and let the free market of ideas and opinions prevail. That is to say, let the WNBA deal with it how they want, and if they choose to allow the trans women to compete with the women, there's going to be a market for people who, specifically women and girl dads, to allow women to compete with women. Alternatively, if they say that they only want females to play in these leagues, there's going to be some investor out there who says, no, we want trans women to also be included as well, and we're going to open up a league ourselves and let the free market of capital and ideas and opinions prevail. And what's going to happen if not? I think the WNBA more realistically is tasked with, they're going to have to create some sort of a board, some sort of a commission that is going to be tasked with either A, approving people to play on an individual basis, check, or no, this person's not eligible because we don't buy the fact that they're actually a trans woman for whatever reason. That's one option. Or the other is the opposite approach. You still create the board or the commission, but the team of owners in the league have the option to veto a player's participation in the league. The Indiana fucking
Fever.
The Fever, if you're the owner of the Indiana Fever and you say, no, I don't want this Ennis Friedman to play, you file a petition and it goes to the board or commission of fucking people at the WNBA. This veto is legitimate, or we think this veto is illegitimate. on one case or another. So either A, they're going to deal with a case by case for every individual player, or B, they're going to deal with vetoes or some sort of a fight on a case by case basis as those are brought up. That's the more realistic option. Or alternatively, the third option, and I'll land here, the third option would be they could just put it in stone that when they say Women's National Basketball Association, they mean Female National Basketball Association.
No.
Yeah, absolutely, because it seems like we have come to that point in society, Free.
I hear you, but I think a lot of us, especially on the right or in this space, still don't see the distinction in life.
But you do. You see it right before your very eyes, brother. It's literally happening in your life. You're on this path fighting about the distinguishment between the women and the females. So don't tell me you don't see the distinguishment, because you do.
It's willful ignorance.
I see what people are trying to do. No. I see what people are trying to do. Like, I'm not really
denying it. That's all you're doing. You're taking the negative possession. That's all you're doing. You're just saying, hey, it's not reasonable. It's not legitimate. It's not fair. It's not X, Y, or Z. Or it's not XX, rather, in your perspective. But that's not the point. The point is that it's a thing that's happening, and whether or not we allow the organizations to deal with it on an individual basis, or we allow the government to pass legislation by fiat across the board to apply to everything, the social thing is actually happening right before our eyes.
Gotcha. And what I'm saying is we don't have to honor or adhere to these types of things, right? And I always bring up the comparison with other things, let's say age, which is always a thing, right? We can start trying to blur the lines or change the difference between what is considered adult and a child, or minor and adult. And we could entertain that, but as of now, we have some solid in stone that has that sets a line in the sand between what's what, right? Same thing with, I guess the elderly person that's eligible for Social Security and all this other type of stuff. We draw these lines in the sand because many of these things have some level of scientific component, some objectivity to it. And when it comes to woman and man, male and female, I think that's pretty black and white more than anything else. Like, the things because what we are is irrefutable. And I don't think we should blur those lines for the sake of just appeasing anyone. Okay? The people who can get pregnant are all women. All of them. I'm not saying all women get pregnant, but only women can get pregnant. Okay? The people who have penises are all men. All men don't have penises, but only men have penises. Like, we have these things understood. We don't have to play these games. If we go down this road, we have to open up for everything. We're going to start compensating for pedophilia, bestiality, and everything. All the shit they say that wasn't going to control on that road. It is what do they call it? A slippery slope or some shit.
That's exactly what you're doing.
If they start denying, if they start saying, okay, this person qualifies, the WBA says you can play, no, this one you cannot because you don't qualify, then there will be lawsuits, and then Congress will have to get involved. There'll be a ruling, and they would have to make a blanket. They would have to have a ruling come down, and then they would probably end up just saying biological sex.
So, excuse me, not to be disrespectful, but that's not correct. If a lawsuit occurs between a player who wants to play in the WNBA and the WNBA itself, Congress doesn't necessarily get involved in that, right?
It will, though.
No. So only under the scenario where it becomes politically motivated would Congress get involved. But if it merely stays legal, then it's the courts that judiciate that.
It would go all the way up, and they would make a ruling like the NIL happened.
All the way up to what? The Supreme Court, not Congress.
And then Congress could get involved. I mean, I think they would.
Congress could, only up until bro. This is what I'm trying to get at.
That's the inevitable. That's what would happen.
So that's where we're at now, right? We're at that point where Congress is not involved.
No, we
are at that point.
No, if WNBA says you can play, you can't, and then the people that were denied are going to file lawsuits, and then that's what happens. And
That
then
wouldn't be, so there's one reason why that wouldn't be able to happen, and that's because the WA is a private organization using private money, using private occupancies. No, it does matter.
No,
because as a private organization, you are allowed, brother, as a private organization, you're allowed to decide who can or cannot participate in your function.
You cannot.
But
there's Title IX. There's other. It's protected class. You can't.
Yeah, but it's not a sex issue, and these people are not trained. See, here's the thing: no, it's not, because now you're delving into my area. Being trans is not just something that I was saying, because if we don't litigate this shit, then we don't. See, that's the thing. That Jeanine Pirro couldn't bring her bullshit ass, case that Trump wanted. Because she knows she would have got shot down. When you go to court, you actually have something called evidence. Like, you can't just claim something. One second, Pepe. You can't just because you can't do that. Thanks, Pepe. You can't just claim something, without evidence. It's not like Trump in 2020, election, big lie denial. No, you actually have to prove. Like, I'm what do you call it? I should be able to play because I'm trans. Oh, you're trans? Well, where are your medications? Where is the conversation with the doctors? Because being trans is something that you actually can document.
Literally, you said this the other day. You create a dangerous situation for the community you're trying to protect. You're trying to determine what is a trans woman according to the person that feels that way. Based on that logic, they don't have any of that. They can just call themselves trans women because they feel that. And that's where
there is a clear line, because you can't just identify.
Who sets that line, though?
Well, society sets the line. You can't just identify.
There are trans women, I guess they're called, that do not take hormones and for whatever reason are passable. And their argument is, basically, well, why would I want to take those hormones? It causes obviously a lot of those.
For some people, but there's women who've been on it for years. But the thing is, Pepe, if they were passable, they wouldn't be in any sort of controversial issue. The issue is that you got the people who are talking about the top or whatever, like this guy. Clearly, this is just a plan. So any judge.
No, but see, you're saying clearly it is, but you're just because you don't want him to play. You can't write it off that there has to be something to delineate.
Right, because to Beaver's point, what you're saying clearly in this scenario, Beaver would say clearly in another scenario that you would say is not so clear. And then that's where subjectivity comes in.
Well, then the conversation should actually be, and this is why it's important, and we should litigate this as a society, because when I think we use these words in the same way we had the conversation about race and racism and all that the other day. We actually need to clarify the way that we collectively use these terms. When JJ is talking about trans, I'm talking about the girls. I'm talking about the people who are passable because they've actually
passable in whose eyes? Passable is not a legal term. It's a term of art.
By a lot of them, to Florida, but by most people.
But who is most people?
Well,
JJ, you're contradicting yourself.
He's not contradicting himself. He's just not.
No, he's in the same position. Listen, he's in the same position as us.
He's not contradicting himself. He's just not.
Listen. No, listen. He has a criteria where he considers a woman, right? We do too. He's in the same position as us, which means that his position is no better. He's saying that I'm making this determination based on X, Y, Z.
His is more strict. That's all he's saying.
But the problem,
he only defines a woman as someone with long hair and titties and ass. And we're saying, no, fuck that. You don't even need that. I don't care if you have all of that. So long as you have a penis and so long as you were born male, no bueno.
I'm defining it.
Go ahead.
I'm defining it also.
How would you know that though?
No, because literally you have to, when you're an athlete, especially at these levels, they are supposed, as far as my understanding, because they do this in a lot of professional sports, where you have to get tests. Like they do tests for hormones so that your you don't have physical advantages. I know that they definitely
The
do.
leagues do not test for hormones typically, except for steroids and PED.
Yeah, these are things that we can implement to differentiate for fairness, because
the problem is if you're going to allow trans women into a league, they're going to naturally test higher for like testosterone, for example, which means that like it could come across as a false positive for a woman, a real woman on, how do I explain this? It could come across as a false positive for a trans woman naturally coming in to the WNBA who has test levels of, I don't know, lower end, let's say 350, I think, nanoliters per milligram of blood or whatever it is. A real woman on PEDs, on performance enhancers, on steroids would potentially test at similar levels of 350 versus like a real woman, a real female is only going to test at about 35.
If you are trans, because this is my opinion, right? We're all just talking based on our, from our perspective. For me, I think that you do give up a certain level of privacy when you are playing a sport, right? Like even with Florida said, you're entering a private association and they get to test you. So if you're trans and you're going, or really anybody, because there are lots of reasons why you might want to test, like example, for steroids or for whatever. Really, what I think they should do for fairness is to do this to everybody so that it doesn't seem discriminatory. You pass the test with flying colors, you ain't doing shit, that's fine. But
JJ, the trans women aren't going to pass the same way that the females pass.
Yeah, no, right, but there's a margin of, because like literally
it won't even be close. The trans women are males.
No. What I'm saying, Florida, is that they know that, but they're going to test higher. But even within the person's testosterone, I'm just talking about the hormones, right?
This is some Nazi level shit you're talking about at this point.
No, Florida. What I'm saying is that the difference between a trans woman who is actually on hormones, actually transitioning, with the hormones is going to be vastly different than some dude who's just like, trying to make like these guys clowns.
It's going to be different for everybody.
Right, but there's a certain
just like as men, JJ, as men, you and I and Matt and Pepe and Free and etc., all the men on stage, we're going to have potentially very different hormone levels. Now, will they all fall in a range of what we consider normal? For the most part. But JJ, that range of normal is pretty large with standing. It's pretty large, that gap, that delta between the low end and the high end of normal on these sorts of hormones is pretty big, because it depends on like our anatomies, the size of our balls, the functionality of our hormone systems, how healthy we eat, the amount of sun exposure we get. All of these things play a factor into it. So what you consider or test as versus what Timothy or Pepe or et cetera pass as is going to be potentially normal, but like on low ends and high ends of the same spectrum. So I, as a trans woman, want to go play in the WNBA after years of hormone therapy, and you going into the WNBA after years of hormone therapy. I might be able to get in because my hormone levels are lower and are more quote unquote passable by your metric, and you wouldn't be able to get in potentially because for whatever reason you and your male hormone levels started on the higher end of the normal spectrum than mine did, and therefore you're not able to get in, but I am, but you're just as trans as I am. And then you would take offense to that. There's nothing wrong with the WNBA creating a commission of like 9 people, similar to a court league. There's nothing wrong with them creating a commission of 9 people, similar to the court, that would decide by if the CEO, if an owner says, no, I don't want this person to play, I want you guys to vote whether or not they should be allowed, then that commission should get together and vote to a majority, just a simple majority, even for sake of situation. 5-4, we rule this person is good to play. 5-4, we rule this person is not good to play. They could do that, or they could take a proactive approach to it and evaluate each of these people before they even get the chance to enter the league without the need for a veto from coaches or owners. Or the more simple option is for them to abide by the spirit of the nature of the league. And the spirit of the nature of the league is one that none of us disagree with. That is that females have the opportunity to play against themselves as females and females alone. So if they just rewrite the rules, simply put, that you must have been born and assigned at birth female, then that's the only way you get to play in the quote-unquote women's league, which they should probably more appropriately rename the female league.
Well, what's the difference between doing that and just saying we don't want trans women in ours? But like, you might as well just say like we're anti-trans.
I mean,
in terms of the league, right?
I mean, sort of.
But being trans is not an immutable characteristic. And so you can say that their gender identity is fine, fair enough. I agree that effeminate men that act like girls. But I don't mean that like in a disrespectful way, but men, you have boys that clearly wanted to be one of the girls. There's obviously a high correlation there with them likely being gay, and that's fine. That's who they are. Now, what an immutable characteristic would be that would literally be their chromosomes and their the differences in anatomy. And the whole reason why we have to, like for sports, it's not because of the gender identity. It's literally because of the physical anatomy, and there is a absolute, nobody's going to deny the fact that there are the biological differences between men and women put women at a very unfair advantage. And as you know, with tennis even, I just don't, I think that there has to be strong lines, put in place so that women can play and it's fair.
I get that part. I just think my thing is though, the way that we're talking, and this is truly how I feel, I don't think you get to water it down. I think that because we do this like when it comes to the Iran war and different conversations. Like to me, there's a lot of people who I feel like hide behind some of these arguments and not just say don't fuck with trans people. Like just say some of y'all do here in this room. I think it's refreshing. I may vehemently disagree, even what Beeper said. That was the most respect. Like I completely disagree. I fight you to the death on it. But I like the honesty.
But I would say this too. Like we do have biological women, which I think is just a nightmare waiting to happen for a number of reasons. Not necessarily just because of the assault, they'll do an assault, but generally how they do it is like if you're gay or trans, they don't put you in general population, like in pretty much any state or county jail for good reason.
Real quick, before S500, sorry to interrupt you, Pepe. I just want to put a more simple twist on this. It's way more simple, respectfully, Pepe. I hear what you're saying. I think JJ does too. But JJ, it's like, honestly, what's it matter if the WNBA comes out and says we're against trannies in our league, while at the same time the NBA says we're good with trannies in our league? What's the problem with that? Because both the WNBA and the NBA are owned by the same parent organization, which is the NBA. So if one of them says, we're good with it, and the other one says, we're not good with it, what's it matter which way it goes? Because currently it's the fact that like the NBA is saying, no, the trannies don't want to play in our league, so we have to try to open up the WNBA to their presence. But what if they just made an executive decision and said, no, they can't play in the WNBA, but we're more than happy for them to play in NBA?
Do you know why they wouldn't do that? 2 reasons. One is the reality is that would be a lie. They're not more than happy. They literally brought this up, and this is something I'm going to start bringing up in general when we have this conversation.
Please don't.
So I'm glad that, wait, who said that? Like, please mind your business. Because I think that what Florida posed is a very, very important question, particularly about sports.
Is it valid or no?
No, it's very valid. It's very valid because it goes to the crux of the issue from a liberal standpoint. It's not about whether or not the transgender, because a transgender like athlete who can, she can definitely play with men. The reality is, y'all wouldn't want to see that. They would not embrace them, the players, the coaches, the fans. Nobody would be like, yeah, let the trannies play over here. We're going to be, want them to come over here, shaking their tits and BBLs and being in our locker. No.
Wait, JJ, you know what we're having it?
Wait, they cannot play with the men. They're not good enough.
That's not true.
JJ, the only problem.
It's true.
That's not true. To Beaver's point, the only time the other players and fans would have a problem with the trannies playing in the NBA is if the scenario occurs where the trannies are getting playtime by pity, playtime for participation trophy, playtime for the sake of getting playtime. If DEI in the Republican and conservative eye becomes an issue where the trannies are getting on the court just for the sake of satisfying some sort of a quota of playtime percentage or minutes played per game requirement, that's when it would become an issue. But if it's the case, God forbid, which I doubt would occur, I believe Beaver to be correct in this scenario, there might be
Zero.
I'm gonna grant 1 or 2 for the sake of argument, all right? If it's the case that there's 1 or 2 that are actually the better and their performance in games with it. However, JJ, real quick, I'll just lay my plane here. Just like how we saw LeBron's son, people are gonna have a problem with it. That's where nepotism became an issue, and in the case of trans women, it would become a quote unquote quota survey. Good enough to outplay fucking the worst player on a starting 5 in the NBA. Let that person play.
There is no sport that exists.
Right, which is actually my point. The thing about it is, if we remove, if we're just saying, let's just flesh that out. You would remove the trans part of it. So now the girls, that's to be on hormones. The girls don't actually have to transition. Yeah, no problem. The girls don't even have to well, I wouldn't even call them girls at that point, but they don't, you can just identify. So really, these people at this point is really just non-binary, or you can drag whatever. And they would be considered trans and playing. So literally, and here's one example of this that I just thought about. No. Yes, they are good enough. Dennis Rodman literally was a major NBA player and used to dress in drag. Maybe nowadays he would consider, and he's also bisexual. Nowadays he would probably consider, or for somebody like that, could consider themselves trans.
No.
Be wearing women's clothing.
They could. No.
He's
right. You're stretching for that. He's right. They could. He's stretching. This is cross. No, that's not that far of a stretch.
Doesn't matter. You can identify. That's the whole.
It's not that far of a stretch.
when men take shit to make them like be like women, that's completely different.
Trans, TRANS.
Yeah, but Jay, Rodman wouldn't take anything that would hurt his performance. He wouldn't. He was a win.
And the WNBA would have never allowed Rodman to play in the WNBA, but the NBA would be more than happy to allow an all-star and Hall of Famer like Dennis Rodman to play as a tranny, as someone who self-identifies as a woman, so long as they are good enough to fulfill that spot and earn that spot on their team.
And that's what I want to see. And I want the NBA, is that my thing is, if you're going to say that, right, you're going to take that stance, then I want to see the play, and not for nothing shit, I'll even go as far as to say it. I want to see activist players push that narrative the same way that these assholes and
that's what we should be arguing for.
Push that narrative.
That's what we should be arguing
those men
for.
I want to see those non-trans men who are maybe allies or whatever, push the narrative, and I want to see you dressed in tight-ass, booty-hugging, like feminine clothes in the accepted. The players, the fans.
Woman, and guys, just hear me out. This is great. Just hear me out. We get that trans woman, Dennis Rodman, that wears the tight tights, that wears the short shorts with their dick hanging out, that wears the fucking tank top with their titties juggled up and down while they're running down the court. We get that all-star who is dominating against men identifying males. It's going to be really interesting to see how long these people continue to identify as trans women if they are that absolutely dominant over men. Because something tells me and something tells society that a large reason why a lot of these trans women are identifying as trans women is because of the fact that they are more effeminate, a little softer, not seen quite as masculine in the ways that men identify and present in society. And if it's the case that they're able to dominate against man-identifying males in professional sports, one of the most masculine kind of like professions in the world, if they're able to do that, how much longer are they actually going to think that they're trans? How much longer are they going to think that they're identifying as trannies? Right? They're going to recognize pretty fucking quickly, damn, I'm not really a woman at all. I'm definitely a man because I just swatted the shit out of Michael Jordan and shut him down over the course of a fucking NBA Finals. Damn, I know I'm good because I just swatted the shit and stole the ball out of Steph Curry's hands 7 times last game. Like really, JJ, think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute. Think about what we're asking for. And if that's what we're for, I plead society to go in that direction when it comes to this issue in sports.
Yeah, or they do the complete opposite and say, oh, look, women can swap men and pack and rebound in the NBA. Look at this. They can do that.
Yeah, no, they're not going to do that.
And how are we going to know they're going to do what you say?
Okay, well, then it's going to come. You know what's going to happen then? Then Sophie Cunningham and fucking all the other ones, whatever their names are. All of them. They're not going to sit there and think, damn, I should go play in the NBA because the tranny Dennis Rodman is able to win a trophy. That's not what's going to happen. And if it is, let it. Fuck it. Let them try to play up.
And you know what, Florida? What I want to do if we do this with society, what I want is for them to actually drop the trans. If trans women are playing in men's leagues, they get to say that they're women. They no longer have to say trans. Because guess what? Then we understand that we got what you wanted. We want to, we have such an issue with speech and all of that, and free speech. They get to play on the men's team. They get to dunk on a lot of these men and get to call themselves women. And I want to see them in full bad bitch gear in every fucking press conference, in every fucking press packet, right in front of the cameras with lipstick popping, calling themselves women. And I'm going to see how much that the NBA likes that. And
Lord.
Nobody would call them women.
They would call themselves women. I want them on women's magazines. I want them on all of that. Because to be fair,
blackballed from the league. The players.
JJ.
Why?
JJ, you might be okay with that, but you know as well as everybody in this room that you're one of 100,000.
No, Florida, I don't want to. I'm trolling right now because I know that nobody wants to fucking see that shit. Nobody wants to see that shit.
Yeah, but JJ, agree with me. You would rather see. Tell me ideologically, in a perfect world, in a one or the other outcome, which one is the greater Cinderella story? Please tell me which one is the greater Cinderella story. The trans woman male who competes against females and wins a trophy, or the trans woman male who competes against males and wins a trophy? Which one is the greater Cinderella story?
Neither. Definitely the one against males. But my thing is, why
would that be greater? They're still a male, technically, biologically. So I mean, it's not really a feat that they're competing against other males. Like,
it doesn't matter.
That's why I say.
The point is, Harry, it's not
Harry,
about.
I'm breaking his brain over here. Just relax.
No, because here's the reality of it, right? It doesn't even matter because, and this goes like even for me because I'm not a trans person. But if I want to put on a fucking dress and wear women's clothes, which I may or may not do, like I don't have any gender issues about it. But it's because I understand that I'm like, you don't get to define how people should navigate in society. So for me, the only difference is that there's people who have, I do believe that there are many people with certain, actual gender dysphoria. But there's also, that's them, right? I'm talking about society, right? I'm talking about you and everybody in this room and myself. It's not really an issue of dysphoria. The reality is, even if everybody, didn't claim that they were a woman, whatever, you just don't want to see that shit. Because if I was to walk up, dressing like a full bad bitch, which I would have no problem doing, playing and dunking on people, whatever, society does not want to see that.
No, we don't care. If they help our team win a championship, I don't give a fuck if they're gay or they if Rodman likes to wear a wedding dress. I don't care. What I do care about is Rodman going over and then trying to play the WNBA and scoring 150 points a game and blocking shots and breaking noses off of the
JJ, that's the important part. What Beaver just said. We don't care if a chick with a dick is helping our team win a championship, but we will have a problem if that tranny is taking the spot of another man who is worthy of the position.
Would you support, because here's my thing, right? What we don't care is not what I'm advocating for. I understand that, and I actually respect if y'all are genuine about that, which I do believe, a couple of you are.
As a real sports fan, I could tell you I wouldn't care if the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was a female.
I want to actually test that theory because it's not just about let's play in the game. We know that when you play the game at an elite level, you become brandable. You become superstars. You become on commercial. Would you advocate for these trans women or these men, however you want to call them, who are helping your boys out on the team, do all that? Would you advocate for them in the Wheaties commercials? Would you advocate for them, at the award shows, at the
I wouldn't give a fuck.
I would even buy the Wheaties box too.
Yeah, honestly. Especially if they were on my team, bro. Like, fuck yeah.
Amen to that. Because that's what I want to. I want them to get the same.
No, it's like if it was like Bertha Brady in a Patriots jersey, I might not be so thrilled. But if it's fucking Bertha Brady in a Bucks jersey, I'd probably buy.
Do you think that Jordan and Pippen, they knew Rodman was a weirdo and he would stay out late gambling or go off on a bender and then not show up until like the shit around? They didn't give a shit because he helped them win. They said, as long as you fucking help us win, we don't give a shit what you do. Or, just help us win. And he did. And I guarantee you the fans don't care that he three-peated and he was wearing a wedding dress on a magazine cover and running around like a retard. They wanted his help to win. That's what they care about. There might be some people that would be turned off by it, but they would get over it fast if the person helped them win. They don't care.
Well, we might just actually see that fleshed out, because what I want, though, is here's my thing, right? I'm about equality, and I'm not about double standards, right? So if we're going to say that we accept people, we don't just get to accept you, but then you got to just help out in the game and kind of stay in the back. No, I want to see you front and center. I want to see you loud and fucking flaming. And I want them to be, no, for real. I really want to see that.
Fair.
Because that to me is the actual test.
That's a fair point. However, to be fair to that, I get that. And that's a reasonable position to take, quite frankly. However, you got to also understand, not every player is created equal when it comes to their sellability, when it comes to their name, image, and likeness. But I'd be willing.
Be careful with words. C-O-W gives no milk. M-A-N-U-R-E has no stench. L-O-V knows no passion. Mistake words for truth, and you exile yourself from reality. Others may follow and drink the poison of your confusion. They will die, and truth will be defiled. Hillel and Shammai received a teaching from Shemaiah and Naphtalian. Hillel said, be disciples of Aaron, loving peace and acting peacefully, loving people and drawing them to reality. Pursuing fame is self-destructive. Decrease knowledge. But don't mistake knowledge for talk. One who knows acts knowingly. Fools talk, and that talk too often fools. Those who cease to learn cease to live. Life is learning, attending to reality. Anything less is the sleepwalk of death. Those who misuse knowledge shall not endure, for only reality endures. If you are not attending to reality, where are you? If I am only for myself, who will be for me? If I am only for myself, and if not now, when? Attend to reality diligently, say little and do much. Receive all people with kindness. Make yourself a sage. Rely upon reality, not authority. Free yourself from crippling self-consciousness. Attend to each moment and act without hesitation. Do not tithe by guesswork. Justice is not a matter of whim. Today you may feel generous. Tomorrow you may feel stingy. Give what is just because it is just.
voices. All my life I listened to their words, yet I have found nothing better than silence. Study is not the goal, doing is do not mistake talk for action. Pity fills no stomach, compassion builds no house. Understanding is not yet justice. Whoever multiplies words causes confusion. The truth that can be spoken is not the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is wordless. The silence within the silence. More than the absence of speech, more than the absence of words. Ultimate truth is the seamless being in place that comes with attending to reality. The world stands upon three things: upon truth, upon peace, upon justice. Speak each to the other, establish peace, and render honest judgment in your gates. What is the right path for a person to follow? One that honors the role of self and other. Be attentive in all you do. Do not judge one be small and another great, for you cannot always know their significance. Be virtuous, even if virtue is costly. Avoid sin, even if we're not in. Perhaps they shouldn't be done. If your words shouldn't be shared, perhaps they shouldn't be spoken. Act with attention, for all your deeds have consequence. Engrossed in study, engaged in good work, not forget selfish desire. Learning without labor is barren. It does nothing to better the world. Learning is empty. It does nothing to enlighten the world. If employed by every race, for people and more. If you carry on the good work of your predecessors, then never sustain you. Tao can be talked about, but not the eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So is ever hidden, we should look at it in our essence. When all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as free, this in itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears but lays no claim to them. He does his work, but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task, but does not dwell upon it. And yet it is just because he does not dwell on it, that's outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all essence. By not exalting the talented, you will hard to get. You will cause the hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, you will cause the people to remain without knowledge and without desire, and prevents the knowing ones from any at all. Practice knowledge. How is like an empty bowl, which in use can never be filled up fatness. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all lights. It unites the world into one whole hidden in the deep. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things. Heaven and earth is not sentimental. It treats all things as straw dogs. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people like straw dogs. Between heaven and earth, there seems to be a balance. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Better look for it within you.
If you are walking lost in wonder, empty of self and mindful of reality, and suddenly you interrupt this piece to exclaim, how beautiful is this tree, how magnificent this field. You forfeit life, the intrusion of self, and the imposing of judgment separates you from reality and snares you in the net of words. Be still and know, embrace it all in silence. Be careful with words. COW gives no milk. MANURE has no stench. LOVE knows no passion. Mistake words for truth, and you exile yourself from reality. Others may follow and drink the poison of your confusion. They will die and truth will be defiled. Hillel and Shammai received the teaching from Shemaiah and Naphtali. Hillel said, be disciples of Aaron, loving peace and acting peacefully, loving people and drawing them to reality. Pursuing fame is self-destructive. It distracts us from reality and focuses our energy on ourselves. Those who do not increase knowledge, decrease knowledge. But don't mistake knowledge for talk. One who knows acts knowingly. Fools talk, and their talk too often fools. Those who cease to learn cease to live. Life is learning, attending to reality. Anything less is the sleepwalk of death. Those who misuse knowledge shall not endure, for only reality endures. If you are not attending to reality. Where are you?
If I am not for myself, who will be for me? If I am only for myself, what am I?
And if not now, when? Attend to reality diligently. Say little and do much. Receive all people with kindness. Make yourself a sage. Rely upon reality, not authority. Free yourself from crippling self-consciousness. Attend to each moment and act without hesitation. Do not tithe by guesswork. Justice is not a matter of whim. Today, you may feel generous. Tomorrow, you may feel stingy. Give what is just because it is just. I grew up among the sage. All my life I listened to their words. Yet I have found nothing better than silence. Study is not the goal. Doing is, do not mistake talk for action. Pity fills no stomach. Compassion builds no house. Understanding is not yet justice. Whoever multiplies words causes confusion. The truth that can be spoken is not the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is wordless, the silence within the silence. More than the absence of speech, more than the absence of words. Ultimate truth is the seamless being in place that comes with attending to reality. The world stands upon three things: upon truth, upon peace, upon justice. Speak truth each to the other. Establish peace and render honest judgment in your gates. What is the right path for a person to follow? One that honors both self and other. Be attentive in all you do. Do not judge one deed small and another great. You cannot always know their significance. Be virtuous, even if virtue is costly. Avoid sin, even if sin is profitable. Remember three things and you will not err. If your deeds shouldn't be known, perhaps they shouldn't be done. If your words shouldn't be shared, but all your deeds have consequences. Engrossed in study, engaged in good work, one forgets selfish desire. Learning without labor is barren. It does nothing to better the world. Labor without learning is empty. It does nothing to enlighten the world. If employed by the community, labor for the people and not for power. If you carry on the good work of your predecessors, their merit will sustain you, their righteousness will endure through you, and you will be credited with great success, as if you had accomplished the task alone.
Be wary of those in power, for their friendship is often a matter of convenience. They appear as friends when it suits them, but they will not stand by you. And I desire only that which has already been given. Want only that which you already have. As a river empties into the ocean, empty eternal name.
As the origin of heaven and earth is nameless.
As the mother of all things, it is named. So, as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. When all the world recognizes good as good, the sin itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set next to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without a doubt and spreads his teaching without talking. He declares nothing to the team and everything. And yet it is just because is manifest. We should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the sound mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all by not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and intention. By not rising the far to you will cause the people to cease from rubbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the bed with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, he will cause the people to remain without knowledge and without desire, rather times than knowing what is for many and do, purpose none and do, and everything will be in order. The Tao is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges, it unties all tangles, it harmonizes all lights, it unites the world into one whole, hidden in the deeps. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things.
It is not sentimental. It treats all things as struggles. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as struggles.
Between heaven and earth, there seems to be a bellows. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Better look for it within you. Tao can be talked about, but not eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So recognizes beauty as beauty. This in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this in itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He is nothing to the teeming things. He rears them but lays no claim to them. He does his work but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task but does not dwell upon it. And yet it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all lessons. By not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, he will cause the people to remain without knowledge and without desire, and prevent the knowing ones from any ado. Practice non-ado, and everything will be in order. The tongue is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up. Fathomless, it seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges, it bends all its all tangles. It harmonizes all lights, it unites the world into one whole. It used to be the common ancestor of all things. As straw dogs, the sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as straw dogs. Between heaven and earth, there seems to be a bellows. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes on it. With no amount of words can fathom a better look for it within you. The spirit of the fountain dies not, it is called the mysterious feminine. The doorway of the mysterious feminine is called the root of heaven and earth. Lingering like gossamer, it has only a hint of existence. It is inexhaustible. Heaven lasts long and earth abides. What is the secret of their durability? Is it not because they do not live for themselves that they can live so long? Therefore, the sage wants to remain behind, but finds himself at the head of others, reckons himself out, but finds himself safe lands near the town. In choosing your dwelling, know how to keep to the ground. In cultivating your mind, know how to dive in the hidden deeps. In dealing with others, know how to be gentle and kind. In speaking, know how to keep your words. In governing, know how to maintain order. In transacting business, know how to be efficient. In making moves, know how to choose the right moment. If you do not strive with others, you will be free from blame. As for holding to fullness, far better were it to stop in time. Keep on beating and sharpening a sword, and the edge cannot be preserved for long. Fill your house with gold and jade, and it can no longer be guarded. Set store by your riches and how can be talked about, but not the eternal time. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameless. So, as ever hidden, we should look at beauty. Is in itself, it is happiness. When all the world recognizes good as good, is in itself, it is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them, but lays no claim to them. He does his work, but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task, but does not dwell upon it. And yet, it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all essence. In not exalting the time to you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, he will cause the people to remain without knowledge or without desire, and prevent them knowing what's from any ado. Practice no ado, and everything will be in order. The tub is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up. Fathomless, it seems to be the origin of
blunts all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all lights. It unites the world into one whole hidden in the deeps. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things. Heaven and earth is dogs. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as straw dogs between heaven and earth. There seems to be a bellows. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Better look for it within you. Tao can be talked about, but not the eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So, as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. When all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, the sin itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, the sin itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set to measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them but lays no claim to them. He does his work but sets no door by it. He accomplishes his task but does not dwell upon it. Ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mystery. By not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing good
is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all lights. It unites the world into one whole hidden in the deeps. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things. Heaven and earth is not sentimental. It treats all things as straw dogs. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as straw dogs between heaven and earth. There seems to be a billows. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Then look for it within you. The spirit of the fountain dies not. It is called the mysterious feminine. The doorway of the mysterious feminine is called the root of heaven and earth. Lingering like gossamer, it is only a hint of existence. And yet, when you draw upon it, it is inexhaustible. Is it not because they do not live for themselves that they can live so long? Therefore, the side loves to remain behind, but finds himself at the head of others, who reckons himself out, but finds himself safe and secure. Is it not because he is selfless that his self is realized? The highest form of goodness is like water. Water knows how to benefit all things without striving with them. It stays in places loathed by all men. Therefore, it comes near the Tao. In choosing your dwelling, know how to keep to the ground. In cultivating your mind, know how to dive in the deeps. In dealing with others, know how to be gentle and kind. In speaking, know how to keep your words. In governing, know how to maintain order. In transacting business, know how to be efficient. In making a move, know how to choose the right moment. If you do not strive with others, you will be free from blame. As for holding to fullness, and the edge cannot be preserved for long. Fill your house with gold and jade, and no longer be guarded. Set store by your riches and honor, and you will only reap a crop of calamities. Here is the way of heaven. When you have done your work, retire.
If you are walking lost in wonder, empty of self, and mindful of reality, and suddenly you interrupt this peace to exclaim, how beautiful is this tree, how magnificent this field. You forfeit life. The intrusion of self and the imposing of judgment separates you from reality and snares you in the net of words. Be still and know. Embrace it all in silence. Be careful with words. C-O-W gives no milk. M-A-N-U-R-E has no stench. L-O-V knows no passion. Mistake words for truth, and you exile yourself from reality. Others may follow and drink the poison of your confusion. They will die and truth will be defiled. Hillel and Shammai received their teaching from Shemaiah and Avtalion. Hillel said, be disciples of Aaron, loving peace and acting peacefully, loving people and drawing them to reality. Pursuing fame is self-destructive. It distracts us from reality and focuses our energy on ourselves. Those who do not increase knowledge, decrease knowledge. But don't mistake knowledge for talk. One who knows X knowingly fools talk, and their talk too often fools. Those who cease to learn, cease to live. Life is learning, attending to reality. Anything less is the sleepwalk of death. Those who misuse knowledge shall not endure, for only reality endures. If you are not attending to reality, where are you? If I am not for myself, who will be for me? If I am only for myself, and if not now, when? Attend to reality diligently, say little and do much, receive all people with kindness, make yourself a sage, attend to each moment, and act without hesitation. Do not tithe by guesswork. Justice is not a matter of whim. Today you may feel generous. Tomorrow you may feel stingy. Give what is just because it is just. I grew up among the sages. All my life I listened to their words. Yet I have found nothing better than silence. Study is not the goal. Doing is do not mistake talk for action. Pity fills no stomach. Compassion builds no house. Understanding is not yet justice. Whoever multiplies words causes confusion. The truth that can be spoken is not the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is wordless. The silence within the silence. More than the absence of speech, more than the absence of words, ultimate truth is the seamless being in place that comes with attending to reality. The world stands upon three things: upon truth, upon peace, upon justice. Speak truth each to the other, establish peace, and render honest judgment in your gates. What is the right path for a person to follow? One that honors both self and other. Be attentive in all you do. Do not judge one deed small and another great, for you cannot always know their significance. Be virtuous, even if virtue is costly. Avoid sin, even if sin is profitable. Remember three things and you will not fail. If your deeds shouldn't be known, perhaps they shouldn't be done. If your words shouldn't be shared, perhaps they shouldn't be spoken. Act with attention, for all your deeds have consequence. Engrossed in study, engaged in good work. One forgets selfish desire. Learning without labor is fun. It does nothing to better the world. Labor without learning is empty. It does nothing to enlighten the world. If employed by the community,
Labor for the people and not for power. If you carry on the good work of your predecessors, their merit will sustain you. Their righteousness will endure through you. And you will be credited with great success, as if you had accomplished the task alone. Be wary of those in power, for their friendship is often a matter of convenience. They appear as friends when it suits them, but they will not stand by you in time of need. Desire only that which has already been given. Want only that which you already have. River empties into the ocean. Empty yourself into reality. When you are empty into reality, you are filled with compassion, desiring only justice. When you desire only justice, the will of reality becomes your will. When you are filled with compassion, there is Tao can be talked about, but not the eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So as ever hidden, we should look at its inner when all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this in itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low send measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado, and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He reads them, but lays no claim to them. He does his work, but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task, but does not dwell upon it. And yet, it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of by not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to dance. By emptying the heart of desires, filling
food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bonds. In this way, he will cause practice non-doom, and everything will be which is being used can never be filled. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blends all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all lights. It unites the world into one whole hidden in the deeps. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all. The Father of things. Heaven and earth is not sentimental. It treats all things as dogs. The saint is not sentimental. He treats all his people as dogs. Between heaven and earth, there seems to be a close. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Better look for it within you. The spirit of the fountain dies not. It is called the mysterious feminine. The doorway of the mysterious feminine is called the root of heaven and earth. Lingering like gossamer, it has only a hint of existence, and yet when you draw upon it, it is inexhaustible. Heaven lasts long, and earth abides. What is the secret of their durability? Is it not because they do not live for themselves? They can live so long, therefore the saint wants to remain behind, but finds himself kills himself and finds himself safe and secure. Is it not because he is helpless that his self is Tao can be talked about, but not the eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So, as ever hidden, we should look at its innocence. Esprit de sin itself is happiness. All the world recognizes good as good. This sin itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them but lays no claim to them. He does his work but sets no store on it. He accomplishes his task but does not dwell upon it. And yet it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries. It's the door of all your sense. By not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by weakening the enemy. Will cause the people to remain with all to practice gratitude, and everything will be a towel is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all lights. It unites the world into one whole, hidden in the deeps. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things. Heaven and earth is not sentimental. It treats all things as straw dogs. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as straw dogs. Between heaven and earth, there seems to be a balance. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Better look for it within you. The spirit of the fountain dies not. It is called the mysterious feminine. The doorway of the mysterious feminine is called the root of heaven and earth. Lingering like gossamer, it is only a hint of existence. And yet when you draw upon it, it is inexhaustible. Heaven lasts long and earth abides. What is the secret of their durability? Is it not because they do not live for themselves that they can live so long? Therefore, the sage wants to remain behind, but finds himself at the head of others, reckons himself out, but finds himself safe and secure. Is it not because he is selfless that his self is realized? It's kind in speaking. Know how to keep your words in governing. Know how to maintain order in transacting business. Know how to be efficient in making a move. Know how to choose the right moment. If you do not strive with others, you will be free and you will only reap a crop of calamities. Here is the way of heaven. When you have done your work, retire. How can be talked about, but not the eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So, as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. And all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this in itself is evil.
Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the team in things, he rears them but lays no claim to them. He does his work but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task but does not dwell upon it. And yet it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him.
As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named. Both are called mysteries.
By not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the same way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, he will cause the people to remain without knowledge and without desire. many I know, practice long ago, and everything will be in order.
The towel is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It burns so sharp as easy, it unties all tangles, it harmonizes all the hurts. It unites the world into one warm image.
Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all the father of things.
Heaven and earth is not sentimental. It treats all things as strong dogs. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as strong dogs. Between heaven and earth, there seems to be a balance. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Better look for it within you. The spirit of the fountain dies in God. It is called the mysterious feminine. The doorway of the mysterious feminine is called the road ever and under. Lingering like gossamer, it is only a hint of existence. And yet, when you draw upon it, it is inexhaustible. Heaven lasts long and earth abides. What is the secret of their durability? Is it not because they do not live for themselves that they can live so long? Their father reckons himself out, but finds himself safe and secure. Is it not because he is selfless that his self is realized? The highest form of goodness is like water. Water knows how to benefit. It goes without strife and it stays in places loved by all men. Therefore, it comes near the town. In choosing your dwelling, know how to keep to the ground. Tao can be talked about, but not the eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So, as ever hidden, we should look at its inner when all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this in itself is evil. indeed. The hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. Fire and loss treasure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and forth follow each other. Therefore the sage manages his affairs without a dome, and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming figures. He rears them but lays no claim to them. He does his work but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task but does not dwell upon it. And yet it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. Is always manifest. We should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, but differently named. Both are whole mystery, or essence. By not exalting the talent, he will cause the people to cease from rivalry, robbing on the stealing. By not remain undisturbed. Therefore the sage's way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way he will cause the people to remain without knowledge and without desire, and prevent the knowing ones from any ado. Practice and everything will be in order. The tower is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges, it unties all tangles, it harmonizes all lights, it unites the world into one whole hidden within the deeps. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things. Heaven and earth is not sentimental. It makes all things as stars. This sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as stars between heaven and earth. It seems to be and earth, lingering like gossamer, 'tis inexhaustible. How can be talked about, but not the eternal tale. They can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. When all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this in itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them but lays no claim to them. He does his work but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task but does not dwell upon it. And yet, it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the dawnless exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, awakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, he will cause people to remain without knowledge and practice monotone, and everything will be in order. There's always blind and empty ball, which in being you do all things in one size the world into one whole in the deep How can be talked about, but not the extraordinate of not eternal. It is named. So, as ever hidden, we should look at its inner
essence.
Recognizes beauty as beauty. The hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them, but lays no claim to them. He does his work, but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task, but does not dwell upon it. And yet, it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries. Tao can be talked about, but not the eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. When all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this in itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them but lays no claim to them. He does his work, but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task, but does not dwell upon it. And yet, it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all essence. By not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, he will cause the people to remain without knowledge and without desire, and prevent the knowing ones from any ado. Practice non-ado, and everything will be in order. The Tao is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all light. treats all fools as strong. In heaven and earth, there seems to be a loss. It is empty, and yet it's exhausted. The more it works, the more it comes out of it. No amount of work. Fountain dies not. It is called the mysterious feminine, the doorway of the like gossamer. It is only a hint of existence, and yet when you draw upon it, it is inexhaustible. Heaven lasts long and ever abides. What is the secret of their durability? Is it not because they do not live for themselves that they can live so long? Therefore the signs wants to leave behind, but finds herself at the head of others, reckons himself out, but finds himself safe and secure. Is it not because he is selfless that his self is real? The highest form of goodness is like water. Water knows how to benefit all things without striving with them. It stays in places loathed by all men. Therefore, it comes near the town. In choosing your dwelling, know how to keep to the ground. In cultivating your mind, know how to dive in the hidden deeps. In dealing with others, know how to be gentle and kind. In speaking, know how to keep your words. In governing, know how to maintain order. In transacting business, know how to be efficient. In making a move, know how to choose the right target. If you do not strive with others, you will be free from blame.
As for holding the fullness, far better to stop in time. Keep on being, sharpening a sword, and the edge cannot be preserved for long. Fill your house with night and day, and it can no longer be guarded. Set strong on your riches and honor, and you will only reap a crop of calamities. Here is the way of heaven.
When you have done your work, retire.
Here is the way of heaven.
In keeping the spirit and the vital soul together, are you able to maintain their perfect harmony? In gathering your vital energy to attain suppleness, have you reached the state of a newborn babe? In washing and clearing your inner vision, have you purified it of all dross? In loving your people and governing your state, are you able to dispense with cleverness? Tao can be talked about, but not the eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. When all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this in itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set to measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado, and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them, but lays no claim to them. He does his from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all essence. By not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, he will cause the people to remain without knowledge and without desire, and prevent the known ones from any ado. Practice no ado, and everything will be in order. The Tao is like an empty bowl which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all lights. It unites the world into one whole hidden in the deeps. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things.
People, where we are the most, think of every so trait you can have. It's generally going to involve dating, and you know who you think you can marry. People are incredibly harsh with each other. Men are going to be incredibly harsh with each other, and regarding how they stack up in comparison to other males. Females do something rather similar. We are such imperfect creatures that I guess the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's almost like you're trying to solve something that is antithetical to who we are. Now, we can strive to be better, and we have been better. I mean, a lot of what we see is as being peaceful countries in the West, like the UK, they were doing just a few hundred years ago, they were doing public executions where they were basically disemboweling people publicly, letting you rot on a fucking ladder for everybody to fucking see. Horrible, some of the most grotesque, horrible shit. Yes, our cultures have, or I should say our society's improved in many ways, but deep down, our genes did not change that quickly. Do you really think that, and I already know the answer, you cannot be non-judgmental. Whether who it is, a friend, a person you see out in public, somebody who's a media personality, it doesn't matter. You're going to judge them, and it's going to, into yourself, even though if you won't state it, you're gonna probably have a lot of harsh judgments regarding different peoples. And so I don't know how do you stop us? That is who we are as human beings.
I think but I think the way that you stop it, Pepe, is literally the way you stop everything else. We have rules and for civility, because we're not fucking animals. There are consequences to our actions. We have literal laws, human beings in general, and shit. If we did not have laws saying thou shalt not kill, I think that people would just be out of here. The shit, we have laws saying that now, people just still be killing each other. But the reason why we still, because well, you could be why do these laws and people are still killing each other? Because it lessens it, it mitigates it, it creates a level of accountability for problematic behavior that is harmful to society. So in that same way,
you're actually making a very conservative argument. And so we have to have strong limits on behaviors that are harmful to society. Now, would you say that, like when it came to the quote unquote criminal justice reform or bail reform, it depends on which we're in. Do you not think that us lowering those standards of behavior didn't have like a deleterious effect on the citizens that lived in either of those, the states that did that?
Wait, the states that did what?
So bail reform. So like I was living in Alaska. They ended up proposing a lot of this shit. Very crazy. I'm not. For example, I'm somebody on the right who is not against bail reform. Bail reform means you can't afford to post bail. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. So what we're gonna do is we'll work with you. You get to post bail. You have to show up to all of your court dates. You're gonna be released on pretrial conditions. You can't fuck up those conditions. Otherwise, you get remanded into custody and told that your trial reaches its conclusion. But which sounds reasonable, because even if you were a wealthy person in Arizona, for example, if you could post bail, but you fuck up your pretrial release conditions, guess what ends up happening? You get remanded into custody. You have to spend your trial until the conclusion of your trial in a jail. Okay, so we have poor people that cannot post a bail. You afford them the same privilege. A revolving door, just like it never was for the people who could actually pay the money for their bail. But what you would get is people that they made like really weird rules. Like you could not, when deciding bail, a bunch of, especially from Texas, you got a bunch of people that they've been arrested multiple times in other states. One group of people, it was two women that would break into mailboxes all over the fucking place. They kept on getting arrested and released on bail because that was just the state law. Eventually, the post office stepped in, the postal inspector's office, and the Alaska Department of Corrections jail facility. They don't have counties in Alaska, so everything's Alaska Department of Corrections. What ended up happening is the feds stepped in, and of course they did all of a sudden have to go in front of a federal magistrate, and that magistrate basically said, nah, no bail, fuck you. And they were held in jail. Like, and these are, I'm using this as an example. Like, there are people that will just like continually push the fucking limits, and then you have to draw a boundary. But I meandered just a bit, but with you, we've talked about like social justice issues where we can see how much more likely Black people are to run afoul of the law, how there's much more of them in prison. But you seem like you're somebody who's like very pro having these red lines where you cannot cross them, otherwise you're going to be held accountable. But
heaven and earth is not sentiment.
Tao can be talked about, but not the eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all essence.
can be talked about, but not the eternal tower. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So, as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. When all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this in itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them, but lays no claim to them. He does his work, but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task, but does not dwell upon it. And yet, it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all essence. By not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, he will cause the people to remain without knowledge and without desire, and prevent the knowing ones from any ado. Practice non-ado, and everything will be in order. The tower is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all lights. It unites the world into one whole hidden in the deeps, yet seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things. Heaven and earth is not sentimental. It treats all things as straw dogs. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as straw dogs between heaven and earth. There seems to be a bellows. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of work can fathom it. Better look, the mysterious feminine is called the root of heaven